This is the 31st Lap Podcast, recorded live in the studios of FingerLakes1.com in downtown Seneca Falls, New York. And now, your hosts, Rich Post, John Baumes, Mike Mallet, and Chris Marquart.
Hey, Rich made it.
Yep.
All right.
Holy moly. Sneaking under the wire here.
Just got in. Rich was off on detail. He made it back, and he automatically became the air conditioner repairman there for the moment. So,
immediately.
Good evening, and welcome to the 31st Lab. I am Chris Marquart. With me is John Baumes, and as you can see, Rich Post is back in the saddle.
Yo. Not Mitch, Rich.
Yes, Rich is here. No Mitch today.
Yeah. I was unaware that I had a long-lost cousin, brother. Whatever it was.
We really don't know exactly what that was.
No.
But he wants to come back. He wants to have a reunion show with you. We're going to get Maury Pomich on the phone, see if we can.
I'm not so sure I'm into that.
No,
if it was a Springer show where you get to freak out and whack people, maybe.
whatever works. I mean, whatever.
We could take it anywhere. It don't matter.
I'm easy to get along with. We're good. We're recording. We are here coming to you live on FingerLakes1.com in the studios in downtown Seneca Falls. Thanks for joining us. Streaming live, like we said, FingerLakes1.tv as well. This is the 31st Lab, covering all brands of racing in and around the Finger Lakes region. We've got Canadian Joe Plazek coming in a little bit later on. We've got Bobby Varin. And for a change of scenery, we're going to go live with our honorary field reporter, Daryl Barrett. It's going to be filling us in on the goings-ons at the Seneca Grand Prix during the Spalding Foundation's fundraiser. And also, we're going to get about 5 minutes of Jeff Homan's time from DIRTcar, who's going to come in to talk a little bit about Super Dirt Week. Rich, thank you so much for coming back.
Now, this is a comfortable big boy seat. Just so we're all clear.
Now, Chris.
This is what it was meant for.
Yes.
Chris.
Yes.
Where's Joe Plazek from?
He's from Canada. I wrote Canadian.
Everybody knows his grapes, man.
Everybody knows he's from Canada. Drives a Maple Leaf One. I wrote down Canada Joe Plazek.
Freaking Canada Joe, for Christ's sake. They know where he's from.
Everybody's fully aware of what that is. The big announcement that came out today. A lot of you have already been made aware of it as it's broken news on the Twitter accounts and everything. Tony Stewart will be at Canandaigua. We know that. J.J. Yaley now officially joining Tony Stewart for the Lucas Oil Empire Super Sprints event coming up Saturday. Dean Reynolds got a hold of us and made sure that we knew that we could put that information out there. So now everybody knows J.J. Yaley will be part of the program over there, and that feels getting more and more stacked as we go.
Yeah, yes. I think I also heard we're going to see Dave and Ryan Blaney as well jumping in. No. I'm almost certain they announced that over the PA last week at Canandaigua, but it was such a blur last Saturday. It's been a while since I've been back there, too.
A blur?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, they had a week off for the county fair. I had the week off prior to that for some personal. Listen, coming from the guy sitting in the same seat I'm sitting
but that's my word.
It used to be.
Yeah.
I came back with that's his word. Listen. Listen, I came back with a bigger bully mentality, so it's mine now. I own it.
Yeah, I don't
so
think
listen, pal. No, but it'll be real interesting to see how these ESS guys fare against the likes of a J.J. Yaley, who really, and Tony Stewart. They all cut their teeth in a sprint car.
Yeah, but just to go back to J.J., he does not have a lot of winged experience. I don't know that he's ever driven a sprint car with a wing.
Right.
All his is non-wing.
And from what I understand, that makes it a little bit more stable with the wing. I mean, you take the wing off and you watch those midgets and wingless sprints run. They drive completely different, but he's driven enough stuff in his career. I don't think he's going to have a real huge issue getting in and being better than decent.
Right.
Speaking of J.J. Yaley, John.
Yeah. What do you got over there?
Let me jam a little speed dice swag down your throat. Ready?
What do you got there?
Right there.
You want to tell the listeners how you got that?
Yeah, I played speed dice while they were in Indianapolis.
Can they see? Chris, can
I don't
you
know
see the
if they can
signature
see
on
it.
that or no?
Hang on.
It's tough. It's dark.
Let me see if this will work. Yes. There it is.
You can see that?
There's the silver autograph.
You can see it now?
Yeah, you see it.
It's there.
See it quite clearly. It looks good. It looks better on the camera than it does in person.
Yeah, really. But I played speed dice. Every week he plays Twitter and Facebook, and you guess what the two dice are going to come up with for a total number.
Right. He's got.
You've been guessing 12.
Try
9.
12.
Try 9 because I played once.
It's been
this is the first time I
2
played
weeks in a row now.
Yeah. So, and to be honest with you, I think it's really cool.
It's great.
Obviously, not everything you see on the internet is false. Because I was shocked as hell when I got the tweet back going.
Oh, yeah.
I won what? No, there's no way. No, and then get an email and turn it on a few days later, and it's on the doorstep.
Yeah, I've been playing it ever since he's been doing. This is like I think the third year now that he's done this. I've played every week since he started it.
I've played one.
I guess 12 every single week.
I played 1 week. I won. So ha and ha.
Yeah, blah blah blah.
No, the cool thing is to be honest with you, I'm probably going to figure out a way here, Chris, to come up with a contest or some type of trivia, or we'll find a photo and we'll do a caption contest, and we'll just move this down the line. And not that I'm not a J.J. Yaley fan, but I've got boxes upon boxes in storage of stuff to hang up that's autographed here and there, and so I think maybe we'll come up with a little something and do a giveaway.
Yeah, we'll have to see what we can get in terms of. I mean, tweet. You're going to be over there. Twitter a picture.
Twitter.
Yeah. Twitter a picture from, or twit pic or whatever they call it. I'm not up on all the technology. I don't know what they're supposed to call it now. But send a pic from over there at Canandaigua, and if you can get a good one of Dean Reynolds, we'll have everybody up on Facebook. Write the caption for it, and the winner of that we'll take home. Yeah, we'll pick the best caption. We'll get a hold of that person, and they'll get that hat.
I think that would be ideal.
Yep.
Maybe we can get Dean standing between JJ and Tony Stewart, and let that be the.
What do you mean we have to? What do you mean we have to draw?
We'll see if we can get mean faces on both of them too.
Well, I don't know if we want to do that, do we?
Well, no, we don't really want to, but it would sure make it a more interesting caption.
Just wanted to take a quick moment, too. We had a quick note come in. We wanted to send our thoughts out to Randy Adams. He's a driver down in Pennsylvania. Adams' father was seriously injured when a fuel cell exploded on a truck they were getting ready to run at a local derby Saturday night. Pete was his father's doing okay. He had a series of surgeries already. Doctors are continuing to caution everyone, even though he's doing well. There's a benefit that is going on. Homer Swanson, a listener, a big supporter out in Ohio, 330-277-6529. That's 330-277-6529. They're trying to put together a bit of a benefit for him. Randy himself was in a similar accident he was in Brookville, I believe, when a fuel cell exploded inside his car. And it was two other drivers that stopped before the red flag came out and drug him out of the car that ultimately saved his life. He had to go through surgeries and stuff, and they rebuilt some of his extremities and things like that, and he was able to get back into the derby car at one point, which was great. But then to have this happen a second time is really, really a challenge for the family. So our thoughts go out with them. And again, the number for Homer, there's a benefit going on to help him, 330-277-6529. All the details aren't immediately available, but get a hold of Homer through by phone or by Facebook, and they can get you the details. Wanted to make sure that we got that out there. Somebody got a hold of me earlier today and asked if we could get that word out.
Sure, get well soon.
Well, we only wish him the best, man. That's a rough deal, you know. Yes. That fuel tank blows up in your face. And the thing is we should probably qualify that he wasn't doing anything inherently wrong. You know, you hear a lot of these accidents of race drivers or whomever that's working on cutting a gas tank out with the torch and everything goes haywire. It wasn't anything like that at all. There was no torches involved. He was just simply filling the fuel tank, and it was something like static electricity or whatever ignited the fumes, and away they went.
Yeah, that's a tough deal right there. Yeah. So again, best wishes for sure.
Absolutely.
And it was a big week of racing. Bobby Varin got a chance to make his debut, I suppose is a safe way of saying that.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it. He strolled into Fulton on Saturday.
So we'll be getting him on the phone here, and then we'll go through all the results, and a couple big races up there in Michigan and in Canada. A couple surprise winners, I would say, at at least one of those events.
At least one of those, yeah.
Did you have you guys seen the big announcement out of Knoxville today?
That STP is signing on for the 2013. They're signing a multi-year sponsor deal with World of Outlaws.
Will be the title sponsor for the World of Outlaws Sprint
That's
Car
cool.
Series. It will now be named the World of Outlaw STP Sprint Car Series.
Yep. So
I'm excited about
beginning 2013.
Well, what's nice is they're, instead of getting out of marketing through stock car racing, they're investing deeper. I mean, and the only possible downfall with that is, Donnie Schatz sits with, the STP sponsor. So will he keep that, or being the title sponsor, will they pull that?
The way
it'd be silly. It'd be silly to pull it.
It would be silly, but you never know if they're looking to.
The press release that I read just before I left home, it sounds like they said that they are so happy with the program that they have with Tony and Donnie Schatz, and Tony Pedregon. All their sponsorship deals that they listed. It sounds like this is going to be an addition.
Well, into STP's credit, they're sitting with top of the line race teams across in whatever they're getting in.
Yeah,
they've got a top of the line race team, whether it's sprint cars or drag racing, whatever they get into.
Right.
So their marketing people are doing it well. So it's good to see somebody signing in.
I want to get the
diecast.
Get
a title sponsor.
Yeah, I want to get the diecast version of that Donnie Schatz car. Pretty much anything with STP on it, I'm automatically in love with.
Well, you have to.
Yeah, that comes with the territory. I don't know. Did you get on NASCAR.com? I know it's not the hottest ticket in the room, but NASCAR.com had a great story on Buddy Arrington. I don't know if you saw that or not.
I did not. No,
you gotta read this story about Buddy Arrington. He was loyal to Chrysler until years after
they pulled out.
So he was running Imperials and K cars and stuff like that.
Yep.
Well after those the support had backed out, and that of course comes on the heels of Dodge's announcement that they're going to be pulling out of NASCAR.
Yeah, I'm bummed.
Yeah, that was some sad news. But on the bright side, it was cool to see. It was cool to see the red and blue number 67. He was a longtime supporter and big fan of the Petties. For a while there, he was running pretty much all their cast-off stuff.
Yep.
Homespun guy. Got hurt one time real bad, spent a couple weeks in the hospital. He used to race ahead of himself. He called it. He would look ahead into the corners and try to stay out of trouble and see trouble before it happened because he couldn't afford to have a car get tore up.
Right.
And but yeah, it was neat. He ran real well in it was at Talladega in '79, I think, with a Dodge Magnum against all the Chevy stuff that was figured to have the aero advantage in the late '70s, man. And he ended up running third a lap down. And the reason was one of the Petty Enterprises crew came over to help tune his car in the pits, and nobody really knew exactly what the other was doing, and the fill can was left in the side of the car, so he went out on the track, had to come back in,
lost a lap.
He ultimately lost a lap, never got it back, and he ran third behind Darrell Waltrip and Bobby Ellison, I think.
Nice.
He hung right with him, so it was cool to see that story, and here's one for Dodge. That's too bad.
Yeah, and on that note, Dodge is leaving. If there was one car manufacturer you'd like to see get in that's not invest more, if there's one, who is it? I'm saying if
I wasn't sure where you're going.
You've got Toyota. What car manufacturer would you want to see
none
NASCAR pick up? You go with none.
Stick to American.
Thank you, Grandpa.
Yeah,
don't give me this crap about Honda
because everybody else is.
Wait a
minute.
Garbage.
It's 7:30. We got to get Bobby Varin on the phone here in a minute, but I'm not going to let this go.
No, we'll table.
There are more. No. We're going to do this right now. There are more Toyotas made in the United States than there are Dodges.
Blah blah
and Fords
blah. They're
and
already
Chevys.
there.
They got plants.
What about
They're
Hondas?
already there.
Yeah.
What about Honda?
What about it?
It's the
back
same
to
damn
Japan.
thing. Same damn thing as Toyota. It's the same damn thing.
Go back to Japan.
Good luck with that.
Thank you.
I'm pretty sure that technology is.
Ladies and gentlemen, that in-depth analysis is courtesy of John Baumes. I'd give you his home phone number.
It's a way to get outside the box there.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm all for all-American, but if that's the case, then they got to stop letting non-American citizen drivers and crew members. I'm saying by that logic, you can't allow any of these people to participate. They're not American.
How about this? They stop letting them come over to this damn country.
Yeah, well, we're going a whole different conversation.
Wow.
I'm just saying by that logic.
Hey, do you have any family in Wisconsin?
Not for long. I caught that.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying.
Unbelievable.
If you were going to have to let one in, if you had to, John,
And by the way, let me hang on a second. Let me clarify. If you had to let one in, what would it be? You're talking about car manufacturers.
Talking about car manufacturers. I'm not talking about people. I'm not taking the John Baumes approach to I don't disagree. I'm
Close
all
the
for
damn gates in this country.
Listen, I'm all for I'm all for buying American, made American. I'm all for that. But if you had to allow one car manufacturer to replace Dodge, what one would it be?
Pontiac.
It no longer exists. Business. They're gone.
Well, you asked. There you go.
What you want?
Okay. What existing operating business? What?
Buick Regal would be fun to see.
Buick. There you go.
Does it come in 4-door?
They still make Buicks.
And can we get a grandpa to drive it?
Who cares? Maybe Harry Gick.
I'd go with Honda since I picked the fight.
Yeah,
I'd pick Honda.
I know where you were going with it, and I was trying to avoid it.
I know you were trying to. I was trying to pin you down. What a mistake
trying
that was.
To avoid it. You're
Looked to me like you dove head first, but that's okay.
Question.
Trying to avoid it, you were just short of lighting a cross on fire.
A couple of years ago, the Border Patrol sponsored Kenny Wallace in the Nationwide Series.
Well, too bad they're wasting their money there.
Want to explain to me what in the hell it is that they do? Because they don't seem to be having their eyes open when it comes to the border.
Yeah, the only thing I'm going to say to you on that is, have you ever been to the border?
Is Bobby Varin on the phone? Did anybody want to call Bobby Varin?
Get Bobby on the
phone. I'm still trying to get Baumes down into Mexico. I'll go get Bobby.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's no doubt it could go on all night because you don't show any signs of figuring it out.
Why figure it out?
I know, right?
Nobody speaks English anymore. I know that.
Why? Right? Why should I have to press 1 for English? Thank you, John.
Exactly.
There goes.
Do you think if you go over to those countries that the first thing you hear is press 1 if you speak English?
It's a land of opportunity here.
Somehow I doubt it.
Somehow you doubt what? That this is a land of opportunity?
That you get that selection when you go to other countries.
What is America's official language?
I'm not even sure anymore.
There isn't one.
It's freaking Spanish now.
They don't have one.
Well, they should.
Okay. All right. What else? Tell me more from the
enough.
Open up. Wait a minute. No. Seriously. No. I want to.
We're talking racing.
No, I want to learn more about this.
Bobby Varin on the phone. We're going to talk about.
I want to get more.
Weekend.
I want to go to the next chapter of the John Baumes Book of Living.
No.
I want to know what other philosophies have I missed out on.
There. I don't want to talk about this crap all night.
This is remarkable. You hear about Brett Hearn?
Well, of course. Who hasn't?
Well, I was going to hope maybe you were going to follow up on it. He missed the races in Merrittville at I-96.
He also missed Malta and Lebanon Valley, too.
Yeah, he didn't get out for them either.
No, he did not. He is out of the hospital now. He got out, I believe, Tuesday. I think he was released.
Yeah.
Sounds like everything, he's much better. Says he'll be racing, sounds like he'll be racing by next week at the latest.
Next week at
There's
the latest.
no definite, he hasn't put anything
so there's
definite.
No anticipation that he's in the car tomorrow or Saturday.
Right. I don't know yet. His Facebook post the other day was Tuesday saying he's getting out of the hospital. It sounded like then. And the latest he'll be racing would be next week is what it said. So
there was press
I don't know what
release
the plans are this weekend.
Press release from DIRTcar came out saying that Brett Hearn was in the hospital and undergoing some procedures. It was a little ambiguous about what was or wasn't the root issue.
Right. He didn't even, in his comments on Facebook that he posted on his Facebook page, he didn't even say anything about what his problem was, just that he was feeling much, much better and that he'll be back in the car at the latest next week, it seems like. He didn't even get into what was the problem. It's been speculated it was a blood clot in the liver, but nothing for sure has really come out of his mouth, so I don't know.
All sorts of speculation regarding it, but he is making.
I'm just glad he's feeling better.
Looks like he's going to make a full recovery, and we anticipate his return here with the sounds of it in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Joining us on the line, Bobby Varin. Bobby, thanks for coming on the 31st lap yet again.
How you guys doing tonight?
Well, we're doing pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing all right.
You hear everything okay? You want us to pump that up a little so you can hear better?
I can hear everything pretty good.
All right, good deal. Well, tell us a little bit about your adventure this weekend and how the racing went.
We went up to Fulton on Saturday night, and it was pretty good. We got to get the car tuned in a little bit better to the racetrack. We didn't really know what the racetrack was going to do, so there's a little bit of a learning curve, but I think we had a pretty good, solid run. Wasn't what we were looking for, but, you know.
Well, there's been a lot of speculation.
If that matters.
There's been a lot of speculation on what did or didn't transpire. If you wouldn't mind telling us from your perspective, what ended up giving Bobby Varin the opportunity to run at Fulton Speedway for at least 1 week, if not the rest of the season?
Well, there was some bullshit that happened on Fonda, basically. We had a 8th place run, ran real hard, ran a real good race with A.J. Romano. He ended up finishing 7th. I finished 8th. And let me tell you, we probably passed each other 10 times in 5 laps. If it would have been for the lead, the fans would have been on their feet and, cheering away. But unfortunately for us, neither one of us were good enough to be up front. So we're having our own little race back there, and I came in the pits, and I had a couple of unhappy AJ fans, although AJ was not upset with me at all. We never touched. We had one heck of a race, but obviously the fans have a different perspective or whatever. So anyhow, they saluted me when I came in with their middle fingers. So I already had the car revved up a little bit because we were overheating. We were running about 235 degrees, so I find that it'll cool down a lot quicker if I just hold my foot on the gas and let the fan circulate some of that air through there. And I saw them guys do that. I touched the clutch off a little bit, and spun a little bit of dirt in the pits, and the wind blew it over, dust over, and kind of covered them up. And they didn't like it, so they went down. And so it is what it is. Then Mr. Lucia happened to, I must have caught him on one of his bad nights. He kind of went ballistic. So he had a nice little screamer match with just ballistic. Apparently, he told me to take Thursday off. Apparently, that wasn't good enough because it rained. Then that Saturday it rained, and so we ended up, he called my car owner up and told him that we still had to serve a week suspension, and that was fine. We haven't been running real good there all year long anyhow, so we were second in points, and that kind of took us out of the point race, so it wasn't anything. I'm not upset with anybody. It is what it is, and we just take our program and do what we need to do now.
So do you plan on being at Fulton on a weekly basis from here on out? Or are you just going to travel around and hit some of the bigger shows on Fridays?
In the air. We're not sure whether we're going to, remain at Fulton or go to, a different racetrack or whatever. As a matter of fact, we even had talks this weekend about heading out to Canandaigua. So I do like Fulton. I think it's a great little racetrack. Probably the only reason that we would travel all the way out to Canandaigua for this weekend is the ESS happens to be there, and Pete Demetric has a sprint car that I can drive. So we end up going out there. That's the reason. We just wanted to get back to having some fun on Saturday nights. We hadn't been having a whole lot of fun on Saturday nights, so we did last week. So guys enjoyed themselves.
So what'd you think of being at Fulton and running against some of the guys that were out there?
Well, we didn't touch a car all night long. We didn't have any issues whatsoever, and it was good, solid racing. We had to start near the back, but that's not an excuse because Billy Decker started right in front of me and he won the race. So, Billy was hooked up pretty good and going to the front. Well, we were coming, but it was just taking me too long to get there.
What did you have to do? I mean, you alluded a little bit to having to tune the car up and get it dialed in a little bit more. I mean, how much of a difference was it going to someplace like Fulton and competing against guys that have been running, 35 laps a week there all summer long?
Well, the biggest thing, they definitely have the advantage on us in knowing where the sweet spots to the racetrack are. They've been there to know what stagger their car happens to like there, and the gear ratios, and they're just a lot more sharper and on the button because they race her every week. But as far as what it comes right down to, it comes down to who's got the fastest car at the end of the race. And if we can get ourselves dialed in there, I think that we can be a contender at Fulton for the win. So it's just a matter of getting everything right. I got a great bunch of guys, and if you got a good fast car, it was 2-lane racetrack, definitely passy. So like that kind of a racetrack where if you got a fast car, you're getting to the front one way or another. Going to be able to block you and hold you back. So I was real impressed with the racetrack too. It was nice and smooth, and nice top groove, nice bottom groove.
Hey Bobby, it's John. I know we talked a little bit on Saturday after the races were over at Fulton. This weekend's plans, you touched on a little bit about possibly Saturday. I know you had told me that it all depended on what happened on Friday. Tell the folks what you're doing on Friday.
Well, on Friday night, the ESS are running over at Albany, Saratoga, so Pete asked me if I wanted to go over there, and obviously I do. Those sprint cars are so much fun to race. So we were going to go over there, and then Andy said, well, heck, why not take the big block over there and, do double duty. So I always get excited about doing double duty at the racetrack. Yeah, it keeps you hopping all night long. So it becomes an exciting night all the way around. You're just running from car to car and heat race to feature and whatever you have to do. So it keeps you popping all night.
So Saturday with Canandaigua is kind of dependent on how you do tomorrow night, right?
Yeah, it is. The weather's not looking good for either day.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm hoping it holds off.
Yeah,
Saturday's going to be a really good show at Canandaigua.
From what I've seen, I'm pretty sure we're going to be okay with weather.
I hope so.
For what we've had this year, weather-wise going through, I've seen this a few times, and it, generally speaking, has cleared off going south or north just enough. So we should get some racing done.
So let me ask you this. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, tomorrow rains out. Will you guys come to Canandaigua then?
I believe that's the plan right now. If the weather looks like it's going to race on Saturday night, that would be the plan, that we would head out to Canandaigua.
And you would bring the 00 with you?
If we're not able to, then we'll probably show back up at Fulton. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And John asked that you're going to bring the 00 with you, correct?
Yeah. If you go to Canandaigua, you're bringing both cars, right?
Yes, we plan on running, doing double duty with the modified as well. The only hitch in that plan there is tires, because they run the dirt car tires, the Hoosier tires.
Right.
So
that's true, and you got American Racing.
Makes a lot more work, but we'll be there one way or another.
Cool.
Well, we sure wish you the best, and every time we talk, good things end up happening in your camp. So hopefully we'll have some good things happen for you Saturday.
Yeah, I think he's been on here more times than anybody now, hasn't he?
He's been on 3 or 4 times now.
I think
twice at Utica Rome in one day, right?
Yeah, I think that this makes number 4.
Yeah.
He's the seasoned veteran at this point.
Yeah, and every time he's on, he wins.
Yeah, so we'll see you Saturday.
Let's keep that going in the right direction.
Yeah, I'm all for it.
Good. We'll see you Saturday at Canandaigua. Maybe we can knock off 2 wins, one in a sprint, one in a modified.
That sounds like an awesome deal. We did that once up to Glenridge, so.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
One of my most favorite memories of my racing career was winning both those modified and the sprint car.
Yeah, how forward are you looking to this race on Tuesday at the Ridge?
Well, it's just another race. To me, I love racing at the Ridge. It's a tight little bull ring, but stuff can happen to you in a hurry there. You can be having one of the best days going, and all of a sudden, in a matter of half a lap, it's all gone.
Yeah.
Everything that you worked the whole race to accomplish is gone in a blink of an eye. So that's the downside of racing those bull ring tracks like that. You have traffic, and it's pretty tight, and it is racy. So I think you're going to see one heck of a show. I do think that. So the fans will come out and check out the action up there at Glenridge.
Yeah, I hope they support it too, because I think it's going to be a good race too. Do you have an opinion formed that you want to share, or are you just kind of staying out of it with do you think that the Ridge will be running next year somehow?
Well, here's my opinion on it. I guess this is the hardest thing to do, is to speculate on something like this, because I could turn around and be way off. But the place has become a real racetrack. You know, it's not just the little go-kart track that races cars on anymore. Right. This is a bona fide stock car, dirt-modified racetrack.
Yep.
If they can get the fans and they can get the cars there, I'm sure that somebody can make a go of it and make some good money up there at that racetrack. There are a few issues that need to be addressed, you know, but, you know, with the parking and the track and, you know, the weather conditions and the way the wind blows there and the dust and where the grandstands are, you know.
Yep.
There's a couple of downfalls to it, but I'll tell you what, it is one heck of a racetrack. It's some of the best racing that I've seen that's happened there on that little racetrack, you know, with Matt Shepard and Stuart Friesen, and we've had some good races up there this year.
Now, this is just my opinion, and I don't know what your take on it is. My personal opinion, I think the biggest hurdle with that place is the night that they race on. Obviously, on Fridays, we know the result there, and now switching to Sundays has been a tough task too because of Utica Rome. That's the biggest task, is what day. If somebody comes in and takes the place over from Jake and Mike and run it next year, what day can they race on where it's going to be successful if they decide they're going to run modifieds or anything for that matter? That's really, to me, that's the biggest hurdle.
It is a big hurdle with Albany Saratoga putting the clay back on the racetrack and kind of gaining all the cars, you know, to go over there and race.
Yep.
But Sunday is a tough day as well, because there's a lot of families that are, you know, that didn't plan on it. But here's my opinion: switching days into the middle of the season was where the biggest downfall came in. There's people that had already made plans for their summer,
right?
And their plans didn't include racing on Sundays. They were planning on racing the Ridge on Fridays.
Yeah, a lot of people, if you race there weekly and that's what you planned on, a lot of people plan Sundays as family days. Stay home, or you go do something else on Sundays with the family, and you don't go racing.
Exactly, and I think that if they would have started out before the season began on Sundays, then things might have been different. But who could foresee that? You know, it's certainly not Jake or Mike couldn't foresee what effect Albany Saratoga was going to have on their racetrack and the fans. But the second part is the modifieds are fairly new to Glen Ridge. You know, maybe that's the wrong division to be running as your headline division. I'm not sure, but I certainly like running there. But our plans kind of got screwed up this summer, too, because we normally would be racing Utica Rome on Sunday.
Right. Yeah, you had to make a choice.
Yeah, so that kind of stung a little bit, but what are you going to do? You have to do something. You have to make a decision and just go with it.
So how many point shows? Well, let me ask you this first. Tuesday's RLC show, is that a point race full, or is that just show up points or no points at all?
I have no idea how the points were. I don't even know how the handicapping system works, and I don't even give it a second thought anymore. I've seen more screwed up handicapping this year at racetracks than I've ever seen any other single year. What was going on at Fonda was just ridiculous. Some of the scoring up to Glen Ridge was absolutely ridiculous until we found out exactly that they were not handicapping by money won. They were handicapping somehow by points.
Right.
So that made a little bit more sense, you know. But just trying to figure out how they're doing it and why they're placing cars where they are, it's awful confusing, and we just don't worry about it.
All right, because where I was going with that is I know there's not too many races left at Glen Ridge, and I know that you and Jeremy Wilder are in a nice little championship fight there.
Yeah, Jeremy's had a real strong car this year. He's won a couple races up there, and he's a real good shoe. There's no question about it. He's definitely a contender for the championship up there.
Yeah, I think he's won now, the last two Sundays, I think?
Last two.
Yeah, last two.
Mm-hmm. That's two.
Oh, yeah, I got second to him both times.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Take that. Yeah. Well, I guess we'll just rub that one in a little, Bobby. Sorry about that.
That's all right. That's all right. He's got a good head on his shoulders. He's a good little driver. He's making some good decisions. He's getting through traffic, and that's what it takes to win up there. So,
yep, that's for sure.
Kudos to him. He's doing a good job.
Cool. Anybody else got anything?
No.
Well, we sure appreciate you coming on, Bobby.
Yeah, you got anybody you want to thank?
Guys, anytime.
Throw some sponsors out there. Anybody you want to thank?
You know, it's just Dave Cruikshank is the car owner. Obviously, Andy Romano is the car owner of the 97, and Pete Demetrasic is the car owner of the sprint car. So, you know, I always like to thank the car owners, and I appreciate what they do. After all, it's their decision to spend money and put me behind the wheel. So, you know, I appreciate the opportunities that these guys give me week in, week out.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for coming on the 31st lap again with us, Bobby. You've been on more than anybody else, so thanks for coming on, and good luck this weekend. Maybe we'll see you at Canandaigua on Saturday.
Okay, guys. Wait from that cooler. There's too much beer in there for you.
There can never be too much of that.
Well, don't drive then, all right?
That's right.
There you go.
That's right.
Deal.
I'll have a driver with me.
You too, Bobby. Thanks a lot.
See you, man. Thanks.
All right, guys. Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Got some feedback things going on with that. I think
was it on our end or his end?
I
tough
think
to tell.
He told me that they were having a pretty good storm down there.
Oh, okay.
So he was,
maybe it is that.
Is it raining down home?
I thought that the microphone had been so unworked the last couple of weeks. It just wasn't used to the feedback and the static electricity from the phone. What are you doing?
It works. We're good.
Yeah. Whoa.
See, I told you.
Yeah.
A little different level. I found spinning this.
Bring your voice down a little bit when you do that.
I don't know if there's any bringing the voice down.
You can not the volume. You just need to bring your voice down a little bit. Slow your cadence down and bring your voice down when you do that.
Are you trying to get like porn voice out of this?
Well, no, not porn voice.
That's what you're looking for, Chris.
I just wondered how velvety you could make that.
I don't know. I've never tried.
Creepy.
We can get creepy, but I'm pretty sure we have now that we've got Baumes closing the borders down. We need to get Canada Joe Plazek down here in the studio.
Yeah, we need to get him. We're a little late for Joe, but I'm sure it'll be okay.
We've been communicating. He's on standby. Okay. He said he was good.
Perfect.
So,
well, that's good. Well, do we want to do? Let's get Joe so that
we can
catch him up, yep. and then we'll get some results after we talk to Joe.
You're gonna go call Joe,
or we can. I'll wing your results and
okay.
And Baumes
you're gonna do the results. This is his first time, so this ought to be.
Well, I haven't been here in so long. I figured we got to do something. So it was Danny Creedon in a modified up at Accord, Albany Saratoga, Donnie Corrales, Big Diamond Colt Harris in the 358 mods, Brady Foltz locked one up down at Black Rock, Larry White took the Brewerton modified show. Rick Laubach down at Bridgeport. Dale Plank up at Brockville. Let's see. The BRP Can-Am Series at Black Rock was won by John Waters. Andy Howard in a modified at Can-Am. The Doctor, Danny Johnson, stays on fire at Canandaigua.
Don't skip over the notes.
Oh, I'm skipping over a lot of stuff here. Don't you worry. Merrittville on Monday. Mike Bowman wins a Super Dirt Series show in a 358.
Yeah, how about that?
That was impressive.
First ever win for him. In the Super Dirt Series win.
First ever Super Dirt Series win. He does it in a 358, which is, I believe, the second time this year that's been done.
Yeah.
Both times in Canada, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. What's Rabe or whatever his name is? What's he run?
Yeah,
is that 358?
He won in a 358.
He won at Cornwall, didn't he?
I-96 in Michigan. Super Dirt Series race won by the Doctor, Danny Johnson.
Let me just jump in there real quick. I don't know if you caught that, but the win percentage that we've got going out of this show is remarkable.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. It's unbelievable.
Mike Payne was on the show last Thursday, and bang, he's got himself a nice little weekend. They won Saturday too, right?
I'm pretty sure they did.
They won Canandaigua.
They won Canandaigua,
and
I think they won at Ransomville. I want to say they won.
No, Pete Bicknell won Ransomville.
Pete Bicknell won Ransomville.
Ransomville.
Yep.
He got 2 out of the
He got three. He got three because his little girl won the Power Wheels race on the front stretch too.
Yep. So we are continuing with a phenomenal percentage.
Yes, we are.
And then Jamie St. Mary won the Franklin County Fair on Saturday night.
There we go. I mean, I don't know what the hell we're doing, but listen, drivers, race teams, I don't know what we are doing, but you may want to get in on this deal.
That's right.
We're killing it. Fulton, Billy Decker. Afton was Sean Walker. Knoxville. I'm skipping over the who cares about ARCA, ISMA. It's stuff we could read this 8-page list for days.
It's taking you longer if you... He keeps stopping. It's taking longer.
Listen.
You listen.
It's mine now.
You're goofing it all up.
At least Joe knows he's going to be late.
Yeah, no kidding. 358 at Maryville, Tim Jones. Billy Dunn won in the 358 at Mohawk. There was some NASCAR stuff there I skipped, John.
Well, hold on.
Some NHRA stuff I skipped.
Who won the Cup race Sunday? I believe it was Jeff Gordon, and we have a first-time listener right now that just texted me. He's watching for the first time, and he's a big Jeff Gordon fan.
Awesome.
So Jeff Gordon
won a rain-shortened race this weekend.
Yes, he did.
In NASCAR.
He got lucky.
You happy? Cool. Awesome.
Terry, he got lucky.
Orange County, Jerry Higbee takes the win. Pete Bicknell at Ransomville. Sealands Grove in the 358 sprints was Mark Smith. Jimmy Zacharias at Shangri-La 2. Spencer Speedway, it was Dave Catalano and a mod.
Barking in my ear?
That's FLESHBURN, my friend.
Yeah, that's good music right there. And my man Tony Stewart wins at the Grove on Friday night for a URC sprint event.
Race. You told me you were gonna. I got this music from FLESHBURN, so that we could play.
Oh, you're gonna amp this up and make it. Well,
quicker? you were gonna move it through so fast.
I was working on it, but I tell you what, I'll print my own results next week, and this will take about 32 seconds.
That URC show, I believe, was the 4th sprint car win in a row for Smoke.
And it's going to be 5 on Friday at Black Rock and 6 at Canandaigua on Saturday.
Black Rock.
I'm predicting it right now.
Are they running sprints at Black Rock?
Yes, they are. And
Friday?
No, I don't think it's confirmed, but he's been there for years.
Yeah, but they're not running sprints, are they?
I'm pretty sure they are.
You sure?
I don't know.
I don't think they are.
Williams Grove, Steve Buckwalter. Woodhall, Frank Dunning in a 370 mod.
Frank Dunning.
Kyle Larson picked up a preliminary show win at the Knoxville Nationals, which I found
and that was his 3rd night in a row winning.
I did catch him. I caught him on a K&N.
The results are there, but you didn't read them.
That's okay because we're not going to go through every national tour. Here, I'm going to put it over here. You can't go
get
through
that sheet.
It sure looks like we're about to.
Nope, because now I'm going to get up and I am going to go.
We're going to talk about the Knoxville Nationals for a minute with the results, since you're going to go call.
Good
you're
Lord
going to call
in
Joe
heaven.
Plazek.
Yeah, well, I mean that's reasonable.
I know the Knoxville Nationals.
That's
is
where
reasonable.
Mike Mallett is right now, and of course,
where's his update?
Of course, Knoxville.
Go get on the phone
on Monday and Tuesday at Oskaloosa, about a half hour down the road from Knoxville. They run Monday night every year. They run the Front Row Challenge, which is a 410 wing sprint car race. This year, for the first time, they had USAC with them. USAC always runs the Ultimate Challenge on Tuesday night at Oski. Well, they made the USAC portion a 2-night show, so they ran Monday and Tuesday. The Front Row Challenge, the 410 wing show, Darren Pittman won. He started on the pole. Brian Brown was on the outside pole. They both had the option to go to the rear, start last. If you win, you get $50,000. Neither one of them took the bait. They started on the front row in the original starting spots, finished 1-2, and won $5,000 instead of $50,000.
Yeah, because that's the same.
Part 2 of that show was the USAC show. Kyle Larson won that, the wingless portion. Then the next night was all USAC wingless show. The Ultimate Challenge pays, I believe, $15,000, and Kyle Larson won that again. That's the second year in a row he won that. Second night in a row he won the USAC portion in Oski. And then last night, as Rich said, he won night 1 of the Knoxville Nationals. And first time I believe he's competed in the Knoxville Nationals, and he wins his qualifying night. So that kid has just done some remarkable things. Also,
360
for all
sprints.
the midget fans out there.
Hang on a second. We got our viewers are correcting us. SP Wilson, Averdy Storage, and Matt Dillner present Celebrity Night with 360 sprints, driver autographs, match races, and full racing program. Features only at Black Rock.
So they do have sprints.
Yes.
Okay, I wasn't sure. For some reason, I didn't think they did, but that's good. I'm glad they do. For the midget fans out there, the granddaddy of them all, as far as midget racing, the Belleville Midget Nationals is the most prestigious midget race in the country. All 3 nights were swept by Jerry Coons Jr. He had a hell of a weekend in Belleville, Kansas, at the High Banks. Trying to see what else Rich skipped over that's worth noting. Oh, he didn't get into the late model deal. Of course, the USA Nationals at Cedar Lake Speedway, $50,000 late model race Saturday night was Daryl Lanigan. He's been dominating. He won again 2 more times this week, Monday and Tuesday. He's now won 6 straight World of Outlaw late model shows, which is, I think, a record. He's won his 13th of the year, which is also a season record.
Yeah.
And now he is the all-time World of Outlaw late model career win holder, with last night winning his 39th career World of Outlaw win. He now holds that record. He's got more than anybody, which is just unbelievable. He's won 13 races this season. He is killing them on the World of Outlaw late model schedule. I did see that I believe Fuller finished 3rd. I don't know if it was last night or maybe Monday night. So it looks like maybe he's starting to get things on track with his new ride, the Kennedy ride there. So I hope he can turn things around and get some success out of that deal. ARDC Midgets also were at PPMS, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania Motor Speedway, over the weekend. Alex Bright won that. So you got Mr. Plazek on the phone?
I do have one Canada Joe Plazek on the phone as we speak.
Joe, welcome to the 31st lap.
How's everybody down in the Finger Lakes region?
We're doing well.
That's great.
Well, we sure appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to come on the 31st lap, and just want to say welcome to the show. And I guess the first question is, do you miss getting to the Finger Lakes?
You know what? I still get down there. I've got 3 boys that run motocross, and we get to Hogsback about 2 or 3 times a year. I drag them down there just because I like the area so much, and we usually, make it a couple-day event and stay over and things like that. So we still get down there. We still love it. Well,
that's great. We sure miss seeing the Maple Leaf one modified around here.
Do they have Maple Leafs on their?
My bank account likes not being down there.
Yeah, I bet. Do they have Maple Leafs on their bikes?
They have little Plazic Racing stickers with a Canadian maple leaf on them. So usually, though, they give me crap because I blow them off with the pressure washer all the time. So
that's funny.
Well, that means you're cleaning the bike, so they shouldn't be giving you too much.
Yeah, that's right.
Much back.
I'm full pit man now. Like I do, I drive the hauler, I load the hauler, I do everything. I work on the bikes, I do the whole deal, and you know what they tell me? They tell me I'm too geared up.
That sounds to me, Joe, like maybe you need to get back into a hobby. Like racing.
You know what? Enough of a hobby, just working on this stuff all the time.
Yeah, what takes more work, getting 3 bikes ready to go, or when you're putting the modified together?
Well, the bikes are the 2 older boys work on their own. I work on my youngest guys, but they're pretty easy. I mean, you buy a new bike for $6,000 or $6,500, and you can run it a year or 2. And modified is a lot more work and a lot more money. There's no doubt. I mean, it's and you know what? The problem is we were always crazy. We didn't have one modified. We had to have like 6 or 7 modified. Right. So that's a tremendous amount of work.
Tell us a little bit more about what's going on with the motorcycle racing and getting down here to Hogback and some of the other tracks that you run up there.
Well, my oldest guy, Mark, started with the bikes back when he was like 13 years old or so. He's like 27 now. So, I mean, he's run them for a while, and he just was drawn to bikes. And my dad always says he wishes my guys would get into car racing, but they just don't seem to. I mean, they like cars and they like going fast and all that in them, but they just don't seem to be drawn to the. He's into motorcycles heavy and snowmobiles in the wintertime, and it seems like my second guy Mike's like that too, and then my youngest guy, Jeff, just follows right in their footsteps. So we have a lot of fun at it. We don't put a lot of pressure on them. We don't run for points. We go when we can. And you know what? They've got a track right here at the site, so they practice here, and it's a lot less a lot less nonsense. They can get their time in. I mean, we talked about this, my dad and me, one day. My nephews run a dirt car up here, and I said to him, the problem is with racing, dirt racing, and cars and all that is you can only practice and get seat time at the track. You can't get it other than that, and unless you have a practice track or something. I mean, who's got that? So that's why I like the bikes a little bit. The guys can condition and practice and stuff, on our own site, and then we're ready to go and we go race. And if we take a 2 or 3 week layoff, we can still go back really cocked and ready to challenge. And yeah, I like the U.S. tracks. I mean, Western New York's got some great. We Aviary 51 and Hogsback, and we haven't made it to Pavilion yet in Batavia, but we're definitely planning on making one of their shows too, and just see what they've got to offer. And then there's a couple of Canadian tracks up here that guys like going to, although they hate most of them. They do like a couple of them. So we usually try to. We're members of both groups, so we just kind of go back and forth and run both series.
What brand of bikes they ride?
They're all in Suzuki's right now. We mixed it up a little bit for a while there, but now it's just so much easier to have all the same brand and all the same parts in the trailer, and It's just a lot easier for me too. Because if I'm looking at a red bike and then a white bike and a yellow bike, I get all screwed up. So I'm better off just keep all yellow and black, and then I'm good to go.
Makes sense to me.
You alluded to conditioning and what it takes, to practice and the opportunity that you get having a track on site where you can practice and go through stuff like that. What is the difference in terms of conditioning to where racing is now versus where it was when you were coming to the area with your modified? Was there as much emphasis put on conditioning and things along those lines, or was it just kind of get ready and go?
Well, you know what? I think I wasn't that far ahead of my time, but I think I was a little bit ahead because I was pretty good shape back then. I'm not as good now, but then I was I was keeping myself in good shape, and one of the things I felt I had to do, there was enough money being spent on me, is be in top physical shape and being able to last 100 laps or 200 laps, and we always seem to do better in the long races. I think that was part of it, but I was nowhere near in the shape these guys got to be in to run the motorcycles. This is a total conditioned sport, and they lose and win races by conditioning. I've seen all three of my guys, get the whole shot and lead races, and then fade to third or fourth by the end. And when you ask them what happened, they just say they ran out of steam. And it's a total conditioned sport. We kind of say it's a man test, and that's what it is. Where auto racing's not quite as bad. You got to be in good shape, but you don't have to be in great shape. And I guess it just goes to show you. I mean, guys like the Doctor and Allen and Hearn and these guys that are still winning races. The young guys are still not dethroning them as far as I'm concerned. There's a few young guys in there throwing them curves, but they're still coming back with what they've got to offer. So it just goes to show you. I mean, you can run probably well into your 60s in the mods, and you'll never see a guy competing against a 20-year-old on a motorcycle at that age. So
no, that's
true. A different sport.
Absolutely.
Now, for a while after you left the area and started racing closer to home, you got into some asphalt racing for a while too, correct?
Yeah, you ran CASCAR, right?
Got out of dirt in '98, and I took a layoff, and we had a lot of things going on. We sold the business and things like this. So, and then after we got that all done, Dad wanted to go CASCAR racing. He just wanted to try it, and done a little asphalt years ago. I didn't have as much interest as he did, but I played along, and we had a good time. I mean, it was a learning curve. I mean, I got a lot more respect now for NASCAR guys after running a season of that, because I didn't realize how much the cars they don't behave very well. I guess I want to say is as a race, like a 300 lapper, you can start out and be really good, and then by the middle you're junk, and then by the end you can almost get yourself back into a winning car again. And we did good that year. We won Rookie of the Year up here, and we had like 3 or 4 top 10s, and it was only a 12-race series, so it was a tough deal. It was, and they were all 250, 300 lap races. So, but yeah, it was a good learning experience. But I wish I had got one more year at it, because I think we could have probably made some good headlines. But sponsor dropped out, and we just didn't want to put our own money into it. So it was we sold the team off, and I pretty well got rid of everything in that deal.
They ran and I believe they still do currently, but I think at that time they also ran a couple of road courses too. And
had to do road courses at the time.
Yeah, what did you think about that? That had to be a real new experience.
I was like a fish out of water, man. I tell you, that's a tough deal. A lot of respect for road course guys too. I never had much respect for those guys, but when you got to race a racetrack and then you got to shift and upshift and downshift and toe, heel, brake and things like this, I mean, it's almost like you're dancing inside there. So I mean, I was pretty impressed with that. And you know what? It was enjoyable. It was fun, although I was really not good at it. But it was something that was a challenge. And, I think I would have forced myself to get good at it if we had been there a little longer.
Yeah, there's a lot more that goes on than what most people know, especially when it comes to road course racing.
Oh, it's amazing. I mean, and the real good guys. I mean, they're just real good. Like you can't even touch them. I mean, they can upshift and downshift without the clutch and heel toe brake. Then downshift on without the clutch and things like this. And they're just really, really good. Really good.
Do you still keep up with that series? I know it's not CASCAR anymore. It's now, the Canadian Tire Series or whatever? It's part of NASCAR now.
Yeah, it's a NASCAR series. It's a Canadian Tire sponsored series, and Canadian Tire is one of our big retail chains up here. I have a lot of fun following it because I know there's some of the guys still there that when I was there, I knew those guys, and I still, and now with Twitter and stuff, it's pretty easy, right? I just have, look at the phone every 10 or 15 minutes on the weekend and get total updates on the race as it goes along. So it's kind of spoiled now. The media's so good.
Is Don Thompson still in that series?
Don Thompson is now working with his old team. He's the crew chief with Fitzpatrick, which is
the owner's kid,
young
right?
Guy that was down running Daytona and the trucks and stuff in Canada.
Yeah, he was the owner's kid of the team that Thompson drove for, right?
Yes, the owner's kid, and now Don's back working as crew chief for them.
So he's not driving no more.
No, he's not driving, and I think that's. I don't know. I guess that's probably not his decision.
Right.
I think that was more of a team decision and a money decision, and he went where he still had a job, and that was with being a crew chief for those guys.
Right, because I know at the time when you had tried the series, and they were showing those races on Speed all the time when it was the CASCAR series, and that guy dominated those races.
Yeah, he's a local guy here. Actually, we grew up kind of together. I mean, my dad and his dad both owned yards, and actually we purchased their yard way back in the late 70s, early 80s. So I know the family well, and I know him well. But yeah, he did. He just totally made his life revolve around racing. He still does. I was just talking to him the other day. He's still right into it. He goes down south quite a bit. He has a lot of teams down there. He knows still and gets inside some of the NASCAR teams, and they use a lot of technology that's down there. So he still has roots up here, but I know he's down south quite a bit.
You touch on that, talking about keeping in touch with people and the social media now the way it is today. How much contact do you have with some of the guys and the people here that you used to race against every week when you were running in a dirt modified? Do you still stay in touch with a lot of them?
I have zero, and I always make a joke. I always say my wife, she would rather have a affair than be involved in racing again, and a lot of people enjoy that. But that's I just try to stay away as much as I can because I just you get the itch, and I know I can probably still do it, but it just isn't in the cards. And you know what? I just you just don't want to go back and be teased again.
Yeah, I can understand that.
So I just try to stay away, and I really have zero contact with any of the drivers and any of that. But I do still see I still have a crew that's in the States, and I do get down to Phelps quite a bit and see Ken McAllister down there and things like this. But I don't associate with any of the guys at all.
Yeah, I wondered that. I could see where you could be afraid of getting that itch.
Yeah, I was. My next question is now shot to hell, Joe. I was going to ask you, if you ever got the itch to come back to a modified in any way, shape, or form, and what you thought about, if somebody put a car up and said, "Hey, we want you to come down to Syracuse to run."
I was going to say, especially if it was the
run the
mile.
200. What was your answer going to be? But I'm pretty sure you just covered that.
Well, I've always told people, I always said, you know what, if you win the lottery, they've always said to me, when you coming back? And I go, if you win the lottery and you want to get rid of some of your money, I'll come back and I'll field the deal for you. No problem with that. But I want to go in with a deal where I got no restrictions on what I got to spend and really no budget. and I could probably still get, even if I didn't get the job done, I'd probably get a good driver and I could run the deal. But you know what? Yeah, it takes a tremendous amount of money, a lot of work, and you know what? I think probably money's the first thing, and then the work's secondary, and then the travels. You know, it's about 98% work and about 2% enjoyment and fun, right? So I mean, you got to be ready, and you got to be willing to eat, drink, and sleep it, and really commit, and that's the big thing with that. When people ask me about getting into it, that's exactly what I tell them. I just say, you know what? Your life's got to revolve around, and if you're not prepared to do that, then don't even think about it. So.
As big of a player as you are in racing, and as well loved as you are here in the States and at home, when you do things like what we're doing tonight, and you're doing some interviews and stuff, what do you get asked about the most?
Probably the first thing everybody says is, when are you coming back?
Yeah.
Just like what we just talked about. And it's just race fans don't seem to let it go. I mean, they just don't realize that things move on, and so they got younger guys to cheer for now, right? So, but they still want the old mainstays back for some reason. I guess maybe that's because a lot of the guys still hang around.
Yeah, most of them are still here.
And winning.
Yeah, I was going to say most of the old regime is still here.
There's only a handful that are missing.
Yeah, and they're still kicking the crap out of the guys that are coming through, and
that's maybe that's great for them, and hats off to them. But maybe that's a bad thing for the younger guys, because they realize that they're just not going to get in there. I mean, there's not too many sports. If you think of all the sports that are like that, most sports, if you're 26, 27-year-old, you're an old guy and you're getting out, right? You can't handle it anymore. But it seems like racing, like I said, you can stay into your, well, we're going to see how long, Bicknell and Johnson's hang around and things like that, because I'll bet you they'll be into their 60s and they'll still be winning. So
unfortunately, Joe, we're down one Johnson now. As I'm sure you probably know, Jack hasn't been racing for a couple of years now.
Well, no, we still got two. We got Allen and Danny, right?
Right.
Oh, yeah.
But we're down to 2 instead of 3.
Yeah, well, exactly. I know Jack's out.
Yeah.
I don't know.
A lot of some of them are falling by the wayside that you did used to race against. There's no more Jack, no more Bob. They're not racing anymore. But most of them are still there.
But geez, I still see Leip's name come up.
Yeah, David's still racing every week at Fonda.
I see a lot of the names still come up. So I just shake my head and I just say I don't get it. But hey, that's their deal, and you know what? I think they're having a great time at it, I'm sure.
Kenny Brightbill was still racing right up to last year, and this year he didn't have a ride, but he's still out there looking for weekly rides. Horton's still racing, so there are still a bunch of them out there.
I could see myself doing it. I think one of the questions you just said, if I'd ever come back, we'll go back to that. I've always said if my brother-in-law's in a sprint car at Oswego now on Fridays, and every once in a while I pop in there and I do have a look at it, and probably if there was anything I'd do, I'd probably run one of those. Now, my wife said to me, if you do run a sprint car, you're getting a divorce. I don't know what'll be cheaper.
Yeah, right.
So I think I better stay away from the sprint car.
Yeah.
Well, or find a way to get there and run under an assumed name that nobody knows.
Yeah, it'd be hard to sneak out, though, for that long at night, every Friday night.
Yeah, right.
Saturday night, right?
Yeah, it might get a little suspicious after a couple weeks.
Did you ever run a sprint car?
Never sat in a sprint car, no.
No.
Well, it was a different time then. I mean, now there's so much crossover between modified drivers and sprint car drivers.
There was
a little
bit
there,
then, but it's not as common as it is now.
You know what? If times were changed and I was running today like I was running back in the mid-'90s, I probably would have had a sprinter also because, you know what? Yeah, you're right. There's a lot of shows you go to that sprint cars run on the same night, and you could probably, double duty it. Although my crew would probably want to beat me up, but I wouldn't mind trying that.
Well, they got to get 6 modifieds together and then 6 sprint cars on top of that. I'm sure that.
Yeah, they always wanted to kill me anyway, so it'd be really bad now.
How many dirt modified races have you actually attended since you quit driving?
0.
Not even attended one, huh?
No, I haven't been to a racetrack. I think I walked out of Bowling Wheels in '99. I came back just play around one night, and I walked out of there, and that was the last time I was ever back into a dirt track. Oh, no, I'm lying to you. I actually went to Super Dirt Week in 2002 after the CASCAR season over, and she traveled down to Super Dirt Week and attended a few of the midweek shows there, and I went to the mile for a couple days, and then we came back. I didn't stay for the weekend though. I didn't stay for the big races.
Yeah. Now you know that race on Sunday. They don't have all that big money at halfway anymore. You know.
That was always my.
That was your nemesis, wasn't it?
Well, it seemed to be. I mean, I always found myself in a position to win it at about lap 80, and then
right.
we always stressed ourselves because, geez, it's hard not to take when when you're running like you're leading the thing and it's 82,
it's right
85, and you got 10 grand coming.
Yeah, and they're dragging that carrot right in front of you.
Yeah, you're 99 and a half laps, and the thing burps, and you're out of gas.
Yep. How many times did that happen?
Well, it happened a bunch. Yeah, I think I got known for running out of gas.
John, what are you doing?
I figured he probably by now he has to laugh about it, right?
Yeah, it's funny.
I mean, it's not funny, but by now you've been out of it long enough that you probably have to sit back and just chuckle, right?
Oh yeah, we have a lot of good laughs on a lot of that stuff. But yeah, you just what it's part of racing. I mean, I see it happen now, and I see it happen. It does. Nobody's immune to it. It just keeps happening to people, and I mean, it's one of those things. It's when people tell me something that happened to them in racing, I say, been there, done that. I don't think we didn't have anything that we didn't have screw up on us. I mean, it's one of those things.
Yeah, like Chris just mentioned, poor Kenny Tremont, he ran out 2 or 3 different times on the last lap of the race. He's not halfway.
It's more than that.
Oh,
he's done that. He's done that run out of fuel a couple times when it come down to the end of the race.
Yeah.
That sucks big time.
He's won on the Rite Aid 198, 197, 198,
about
199. It's been several times where he's run out of gas.
Yeah.
Joe, I mean, of all the,
what, they make those races. Fuel races like that, and it takes away some of the. I mean, it's great for the fans because it puts a lot of drama in it. But
well, unfortunately, the last few years, that's been the only drama is running out of fuel.
Well, exactly, and that's the problem. I mean, I could always win the short sprints down there, like the Labor Days. We had them covered. I won 3 in a row, and
yep.
I mean, we had the where it was green and then went to checkered at a certain lap. We didn't have to pit or nothing, but you throw that pit stop in there, and you throw some of the variables that can happen. And I mean, we had stupid stuff happen, like the radio come unplugged one year, and I couldn't talk to the guys, and I didn't even know it was wrong until I found it under caution, and that was like 50 laps later, and
right.
And just stupid crap. And every time you had something like that happen, you fixed it. But the problem is the next time you'd go, like we had a header and a tailpipe fall off once, but stayed in the car, but broke in two, and the thing, 8 holes in the body and barked in my ear all day, and it just took power away from the engine, and so I mean, and then you fix that, but then next year you go back to something else that bites, So it's definitely an endurance race. It's you can compare it to probably not as the Baja, but I mean it sometimes it was the Baja down there. It was so rough, but you can compare it to an endurance race. There's no doubt, and it's a fuel mileage, endurance, all that stuff, all bottled into one.
Yeah.
With everything that you've done in a race car and things like that, and interviews year after year, and we end up re-racing the races from the 90s and stuff like that, what's some of the things that you wish people would ask you more about, or what are some of the things that a lot of the fans have missed since you've left racing?
I don't know. I mean, I guess the biggest thing when people ask me about what I miss the most about it and things like this is just the development. I really enjoyed the development. I enjoyed trying to outguess the next year and try to figure out what's the better deal going to be for us. And I think that was our strong point is when November 1st came every year, I was thinking about next year, and we started right away. We didn't take any time off as far as our thought process. And I think that's probably the biggest thing when I talk to people. A lot of people don't realize what goes on behind the scenes and all that deal, and if they did, probably they'd be flabbergasted, right? They see you from 6 o'clock in the afternoon till 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock at night, and then they figure that they don't see it till the next week again. But there's a lot more goes on behind the scenes than we always said that we wish we had done a reality TV show around our auto recycling yard and our race team back in the mid '90s, because we would have had all these reality shows licked.
Yeah.
I mean, we would have had the whole thing covered because we had the comedy, we had the drama, we had everything all here. So I mean, we should have done something like that.
We got a question coming in from our live chat here. One of our fans wants to know. One of your fans wants to know what's your best memory that you have in racing, and is there one win that stands out?
Probably the first Labor Day, quickly now. I mean, I'm just off the top of my head.
Yeah, I know.
Probably the first Labor Day race at the fairgrounds, because that was a track that we just, it's a tough track, and I remember running that race, and your mind's spinning, and every couple laps you're thinking the chassis is going away on you, and so I think that was the sweetest one. Just to get that off. Once we got that off our chest, I think everything kind of come better after that, and I think so. I would say, Labor Day at the fairgrounds, the first one we won, I believe that was like, I'm going to say 95, I'm going to guess. And then, 6 and 7, we won it again. But, I mean, I don't think there was a sweeter one than the first one there.
Yeah, and that's a special place to win at.
Going back.
Was that again? I didn't hear you.
I said that's a special place to win at,
Yeah, Syracuse is a tough place to win, and I mean, I mean, if you look down the list of winners of that place ever, I mean, I don't even take the big races, even take every race they've ran there. It's only still maybe 20 guys have ever won at the place. I mean, it's a tough place to win at.
Yeah, absolutely.
Going back to what I was asking you before, it wasn't necessarily what you miss; it's what have we missed. As fans and media people. We look back and we remember the Maple Leaf one running at Syracuse and winning those races at Rolling Wheels and running at Canandaigua and things like that. And the conversation always comes back to re-racing those races from the 90s and getting into late 90s and the early 2000s and stuff like that. But there's been 10 years since that's happened. What is it that we've missed in the life of Joe Plazek, in addition to running CASCAR, in addition to the dirt bikes and that kind of stuff? What have we missed, and what should people be asking you about what's going on in Joe Plazek's life now?
Well, you know what? I mean, tough question, but the beauty of it is, I guess, a lot of people don't even know who I am when I go to the bike tracks. They don't, and I mean, it's been probably 15 years since I've been on the dirt circuit. So, I mean, a lot of the kids that were born when I quit, they're grown-ups almost now. So
right.
When you think about the time frame, a lot of people don't even remember, sort of thing. So, I don't know if, I guess if I had it stuck in there, it'd just be like, I'd be running against all the guys still, just like anything else, everybody else is. But, I had some boys growing up. I had my daughter growing up, things like this, and it was time. I think it was, looking back, I made some sacrifices early in my career to do it, and then it was time to spend some time with the family, and now it's almost time that I could do something again with it, because they're getting older and they're taking off their separate ways, and
right.
We're still doing some of the bike stuff, but yeah. So I mean, there is a middle part there that maybe the fans miss me, but I miss some things too. So it's a trade-off in this whole thing. I think the fans want the driver to hang around forever and be there forever, but you got to split up some time. It's just like anything else. It's a maintenance program with life too. I think you just can't put all your eggs in one basket. And racing's one of those deals that you can't really do it and dabble at it. You got to do it full bore or get out. I think that's where I was at the point, was just spend some time with the family and move on.
You're right when you say with the statement about the fans not wanting to see their drivers go away. They want them around forever. And believe me, I can attest to that 100%, because being a lifelong fan of that Orange 12A, and then now the last 3 years not seeing that car out there, it's been very difficult, let me tell you.
Well, I look down some of the races that have been run in the last little while, some of the roster. And I mean, I realize the roster, like anything else, is going to change, and new guys are going to come in and young guys. But you know what? I'm looking down the rosters now, and I'm not seeing the names that, when I used to race, like, if I went to and I'll use tour race because there was, CRC, there was a whole bunch of names back then, but when I went to a tour race, there was a good 15, brand name guys that were there there was 3 or 4 guys from every track that were top guys from Fonda and Lebanon and Orange County, and I just don't see that anymore. I mean,
no,
maybe you guys can verify that for me, but I don't see that as much as I mean, I don't even know what they're getting for numbers as on the whole tour, but and again, I don't know how the guys do it, because I think cost-wise, it's got to be killing right now. But
absolutely,
I just think times were tougher back then. I mean, I went to Canandaigua and I had to battle both Johnsons, Cagle. There was even some guys back then that were, Merv was there for a few years when I was there.
Bob.
Bob, of course. There was just a tough field, man. To finish, 7th or 8th in that deal, you were really, really running, and I mean, anywhere else you would have won, right? So I mean, that was. I don't know if I see that as much now as I did back then, but and that's fine and dandy. But I maybe you guys know more about that than I do right now.
Yeah, I think you're pretty close to right on the nail there, because
it's gotten thinner.
Yeah, it's gotten a lot thinner. Canandaigua has kind of reemerged as the place to be with a pretty thick and stout modified field,
right,
but you go outside of that, and it's thin. 2 or 3, maybe 4 or 5 total that are like you said, brand name guys that are right out of the box. You're looking at to win. So I think you hit the nail right on the head with that, Joe.
Yeah, I'm not talking about guys that follow the tour because they can. I'm talking about and I know you know what I'm talking about. I just want everybody else to be clear. I'm talking about the 4 seasons track champions. Follow the tour where you get. The 4 brand name guys that were past track champions at that track, and they all converge on rolling wheels or wherever they're running a tour race. I just don't see that anywhere.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
So you had mentioned a little while ago about the family business. I didn't realize you had said you'd sold it off, huh?
We sold it off, and we bought it back in 2003, and we've been here now just about 10 years back in as a family again.
So you have it back then?
It's gone full circle.
Ah, because that was my next question. When you said you sold it earlier, my next question was going to be, what are you doing now? So you have it back.
Yeah, we're back in the salvage business again. We've got the same spot we had for years, and we're back at it.
Nice.
Anybody that you want to mention that helps keep the bikes going?
Well, you know what? The boys do a lot of work on their own bikes, and I like I said, I look after the transportation, the trailer, and some of this thing. And another thing we do is we spread out the costs. I mean, the older boys look after a lot of their parts and tires and stuff, and I'll look after some admission and things like that. And we try to spread it around a little bit, which is kind of neat. It's just we try to keep it fun. We don't want it to be burden to anybody, and I don't want the guys getting out because it's a burden, and that's a big thing in this whole deal.
Yeah, you got to have fun. When it's not fun anymore, then it's time to move on.
Did you shut the speaker off?
Nope.
Is he there? Can you hear us?
I gotcha.
There we go.
There we are. We got you
nervous.
back. We lost you for a second.
Thought we lost it there. Well, Joe, we really appreciate you taking time out to come on the 31st lap with us. Just something as a side note, you were talking about, maybe this is the right time. Stu Shepard is back in the car pretty much full-time over at Canandaigua. We're just throwing it out there. Thanks again so much, and we really appreciate it. We look forward to catching up with you soon.
Yeah, we wish you and your family the best with the motorcycles and all that stuff, too.
Hey, no problem. As long as we're having fun, it is the best.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks a lot, Joe.
Thanks for having me on.
Thanks,
you got it. Have a good night, man.
Joe Plazek,
that's
how
cool
about
catching
that?
up with Canadian Joe.
Yeah, that's cool.
And I was sitting at home, monkeying around on Twitter. I knew he was on Facebook, and all of a sudden, somebody retweeted something that he tweeted, and I went, Canada Joe.
Yeah.
Why are we not interviewing him?
Yeah, right.
So, I tweeted him to see if he had any interest, and social media pulls through. He responded and said, yeah, he was most certainly interested. We swapped email addresses and went back and forth, and
you got in contact with him via Twitter.
Via Twitter. No joke. Just
I can't believe you asked him about running out of gas. I was like, oh my god,
what a dick move.
Yeah, that was brutal.
It's all right.
Once again, this is the 31st lap. We go live to tape every Thursday night, and the show's up almost immediately after, so be sure to check us out. If you don't keep the late hours, be sure to visit FingerLakes1.com on Friday. Visit podcast.fingerlakes1.com, 31stlap.com. There's a host of podcasts available through Finger Lakes 1, including The Saw, starring Tony Sometimes, the Finger Lakes Great Pod. They look at the local wineries, Weber on Sports, Tech Talk Live, Tiffany Collinsworth, Finger Lakes Look Ahead, and the Sports Talk Jocks, Dog and Polly, which goes up every Wednesday. If you want to see our show as it happens, visit fingerlakes1.tv, look up the 31st lap. If any of our listeners want to ring in, you can call 315-729-3999. We're going to go right into Jeff.
I think we're going to go get Jeff.
We'll get Jeff, and that's only a few minutes.
We'll see what dirt cars got kicking around here coming to the end of the season.
You ended up briefing him, so we'll let you have a chance to talk a little bit too. Joe, what a great time with Joe. That was cool.
Yeah, that was a good interview. I'm glad to hear from him. I didn't realize he had sold the business and then bought it back again.
Yeah, I knew he had sold it, and I actually had heard that he bought it back. I didn't realize that it was within like about a year or 2 years.
Right, that's funny. I didn't know any of that was going on. Last I knew anything about him was when he did the cast car deal.
Yeah.
Because I remember seeing him on TV because, like I said earlier, Speed always showed all those races. They showed him in the wintertime.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I kind of knew what he was doing at that time. But it's been, like he said, several years now.
Sure.
So
yep.
That was cool to catch up with him. Got three boys running.
He said 3 boys running the dirt bikes. Yep.
Yep. That's pretty cool. It's funny though. He said he's the only time he's been back is that 1 year at Super Dirt Week to come attend races. The only time he's attended the dirt track since he stopped.
Yeah, it's been over
running dirt modifieds. It's amazing because I know how
it's been 10 years. It's been 10 years.
Yeah,
10 years Super Dirt Week.
Yeah, exactly. Sure. So I know how I am when it comes to racing. Like the fact that people like himself can just stop cold turkey is amazing because I could never do it.
No,
no way,
no chance.
No, not happening.
He was dead on about what he said about the brand name guys, that there's only, maybe 3 people that go to the show. If you go to Canandaigua Motorsports Park, you know a lot of the guys that were there, but only because they've got the dirt points, and those guys have kind of been backed into a corner, pigeonholed, as it were.
Right.
They got to run there.
Right.
You look at, and Fulton's had their time in the sun as in that role, and Brewerton does the same thing.
Yeah.
Leedsport's had that spot too, but back in the day it was every track you went to had its particular sluggers. Now it's not always the case.
Yep, absolutely.
Looks like Rich, right? You haven't missed a beat, Rich.
No,
go out there, you got him on the phone. You're right back in here. Bam, ready to go.
We got Jeff on the line.
We got Jeff on the line. It's just like riding a bike.
It's also
miss a whole bunch of time, and I never forget how to dial a phone. It's amazing.
You got that phone shelf right there. You're built for this job.
I'm built for something.
I got the look of death there for a second. I wasn't sure. I thought maybe I was going to need a bouncer.
Pay no attention.
Too late. You got one. Wrong guy. So, we do have Jeff Hachmann from DIRTcar here on the phone, and we're going to basically, Jeff, I'm just kind of looking to see what you got going on here coming into the meat and potato section of the season here.
It's the big time of the season. Just coming off Michigan, which was a cool deal for the series. Going out there, I know, I don't want to steal Joe's thunder, but the promoter's already interested in having the cars back next year. So successful going out there. But we got Labor Day, the Labor Day race coming up at Rolling Wheels, and then I've already been well into Super Dirt Week. So Super Dirt Week's kind of a cool deal, and I'm not sure how many people saw the big announcement today out at Knoxville, but
I did.
Starting 2013, it's going to be the World of Outlaws STP Sprint Car Series, so that's a cool deal.
Yeah, I saw that today, Jeff, and that's awesome news for the World Racing Group.
Thanks to Twitter and other social media, that was one of the first things I saw when I came around today.
Mallet tweeted it as soon as it was announced.
It's been a pretty big deal. We've brought some big partners on, and I'm not sure if the fans really see that all the time, but Napa taking over Super Dirt Week this year, and VP Small Engine Fuels coming on board again for the 200 at Super Dirt Week, and Gander Mountain coming on board for the 358 race.
Yep.
So it's been pretty exciting, and I think the fans, the corporations, the partners out there are starting to see what's going on with dirt car racing, and it's not about every little event out there. It's about the sport overall, and I think some people forget that, or maybe neglect to see that it's about the brand. It's about building the sport. It's not about Rolling Wheels. It's not about Canandaigua. It's not about Brewerton. It's not about Fulton. It's about everything. And and when those big events build, everything builds around it. So it's exciting. I can tell you, I don't know the last time this happened. Maybe somebody can tell me, but we're sold out of suites on Saturday night for the World of Outlaws Sprint Car event. already at the end of July, and we only have one suite left for the late model race at Rolling Wheels. So, I mean, I know last year that happened in September, so
that's a good problem.
It's exciting.
That's good.
It's a great time of the year.
At risk of sounding cliche, how much did winning short track event of the year last year play into trying to draw more sponsorship attention from people like Gander Mountain, Napa, Small Engine Fuels, and groups like that?
Oh, I mean, it was a big part of it. That was a humongous award, and we got it right. We got the award right during DIRTcar Nationals, which was a very successful event and exciting, and a packed house. So, I mean, really, some people will say the momentum started this year. I think the momentum started with Super Dirt Week last year. This is not me speaking. This is fans. This is sponsors that have come up to me and say, last year's Super Dirt Week, and don't get me wrong, the weather probably helped that a little bit because it was a beautiful weekend or week. But, they said, wow, this is the best Super Dirt Week in years. And, I really think the momentum started there, and then to be recognized, not just us walking around saying it was a great Super Dirt Week, being recognized as the annual or outstanding annual short track event of the year. I mean, that's awesome.
How does Super Dirt Week beat the Nationals down there in Charlotte when you've got the sprint cars, the late models, and the modifieds all doing their year-end races? How does Super Dirt Week beat that?
Super Dirt Week, I mean, I've always marked it as the Daytona 500 of dirt car racing.
Yeah.
It's a mile track. It's the biggest track. It's a week long. It's featuring the modifieds, whereas World Finals features the World of Outlaw sprint cars, the World of Outlaw late models, and the modifieds. Which, you know what? Not because we're in the modified business up here, but the modifieds put one of the greatest shows on, if not the greatest show, at World Finals. So, to be able to feature that whole, the modifieds, the 358s, the sportsmen, the pro stocks. I mean, it's I think that's the difference. That's, it's not, we are expanding with the Super Dirt Car Series. Obviously, we're going to Michigan, but right now the World of Outlaw Sprint Cars and late models are traveling nationally, and the Super Dirt Car Series is dominating the Northeast. So it's the time to feature all of them.
Jeff, it's John. You touched on Michigan. Did you make the trek out there?
I didn't make the trek to Michigan. I made it as far as Maryville, and then I had to come back. I had some meetings here for Super Dirt Week, and some people will say that's 2 months away still, but I can tell you it's on us.
It's a work in progress all the time, isn't it?
Yeah, Joe is awesome, and probably one of the best series directors out there. And I know he's heard it from people. It's not something that's just flapping the gums or whatever. But Joe's got a complete control of that series, and he's building it the best way he can. So it was best for me to get back for Super Dirt Week and have him worry about the series.
So I guess my question would be, I didn't know if you had attended or not. What have you heard so far as feedback about the event? How did it go?
Well, I heard everything went well. I mean, unfortunately, obviously it was quite a trek.
Right.
From what I heard, there was only one car that we missed that we thought was going to be there. Obviously, we got hurt by two additional cars with Brett Hearn's sudden illness.
Yeah.
And, I spoke to him yesterday, and I don't know if anybody's brought that up, but he's doing well. He's excited. He wants to get back in the car. He surely doesn't want to rush it, but he's ready to go racing again.
Yeah, I bet he is.
So car count, surely something to build on. But, we're trying to build the series, and, the drivers have to build the series with us.
Yeah.
So, we can't just go out there and put on an event without them supporting it. Crowd crowd was awesome, and I think really the success story is the promoter already calling Joe and saying, we want you back next year.
So he does want him back next year. That's good.
That is definite.
Has there been any talk or speculation that maybe turning this into more than one race while out there?
You know what? I've only talked to Joe, and I got to be honest with you, he's been traveling, and it was a short conversation. It was really more about Super Dirt Week.
Yeah.
But there were actually he has considered some modifications to the schedule. Surely nothing has been written down on a piece of paper or anything been changed, but he's considering making changes that makes it easier for the drivers.
So you mentioned the changes, pending possible changes to Super Dirt Week. Is there anything that's changed from last year that's already been determined that the fans and or the drivers, media could look forward to or expect before we get there?
Well, I think we got a pretty good model. The thing with Super Dirt Week is there's a lot of action on the track, and then with the satellite events, it really cuts down on the time. We are trying to bring some additional excitement to Friday night. I like to call it Friday night's bash leads to Sunday's clash. So, bash can be the drivers banging side by side for that qualifying spot, but they can also be the fans. And, beyond the fans, the local market and building it in Syracuse. I don't know how many people remember, but the Syracuse Crunch played an outdoor hockey game at the New York State Fairgrounds, I believe, was it 2 years ago, outdoors, and they had 15,000 fans. And I'd be willing to bet that out of those 15,000 fans, there probably wasn't 100 that could name a player on the team, but it was the place to be.
Yeah,
and that's what
we're
doing in creating ancillary events around Friday night and the action beyond the track to create that party atmosphere for not just the fans of dirt car racing, but people who want to be in the place to be.
Yeah, I was one of those people that couldn't name one player that day.
What was that?
I was one of those people that couldn't name one player that day, but it was a great event.
And I think that's what Friday night is. I mean, it's it's not just the racing under the lights. I mean, think about football. I mean, every team plays on Sunday, but there's something sexy about going to the Monday night football game.
Yep, right.
And I think it's the same thing with NASCAR. Everybody races on Sunday afternoon, but when they race on Saturday night,
yes,
it's kind of cool. Now, granted, they got some great tracks that they run on Saturday night also.
Right.
But there's something cool about under the lights.
Absolutely.
And, that's what we're trying to create at Super Dirt Week.
Yeah, I loved the idea last year when you ran the Friday night program. I thought it was great.
I can tell you for the fans that feel that the lighting is maybe not what it should be. I mean, we are bringing in the trucks again, the Musco lighting.
Yeah.
I can tell you I met with the fairgrounds, and they are relighting the whole facility.
Oh, really?
Well, I would expect it to be brilliant on Friday night.
Nice.
We're looking forward to that.
That's good.
Absolutely looking forward to that.
I got a question going back to Michigan. Kind of looking at the where the modified Super Dirt Car Series has gone with a return to Charlotte. We've picked up a couple new tracks here through the last couple of years, and now we're going to Michigan, and there's some talk about maybe restructuring the schedule. Is this the actualization of what all the talk was of what the modifieds were going to be as they start breaking in a little bit more, not necessarily on a national level, but they're getting to get more than just a northeastern reach?
Yeah, I mean, I think this was a start of it. And, I know, and, I don't want to speak for Joe because he's the one that has the conversations. He's the one that puts together the series. But I know he's had other conversations with, tracks, high-profile tracks in the Midwest that are looking to have the modified series. And, is it go to Michigan, come down to Eldora, and go to Lernerville, and then make your way back to the States? Or to New York, sorry, not to the States. But, what is that mix? But, surely, it's something you got to take in baby steps, and make it work. But I know Joe has a bigger picture for this series, and is actually being way ahead. He's not thinking of the season right now. He's always thinking of what the season's going to be a year or two down the road.
Right.
Boy, how about that? How great would that be? The modifieds back at Eldora. I would love to see that. Throw Bloomington in there. Yeah.
Throw Bloomington in on the way through. What the heck?
For me, I just love, because being a lifelong modified fan, growing up in New York State,
Sharon in there,
and doing this my entire life, I just love the fact or the thought of seeing a modified race at a track that I've never seen one at. That's always been a thrill for me. I know a lot of people bitched and complained about the whole going all the way out to Michigan. Me personally, I'm all for it. I like it.
I think, John, there's a real fine line on how far you can and can't go.
Yeah.
And Jeff, correct me if I'm wrong. I think the actual car count for Michigan was 16 took the green.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I may have said 17.
No, it was 16
I think
or
originally
17.
there was 17 cars, but only 16 actually raced.
And the bottom line in that is for those that complained about that and said it was too far, 16 cars made the trip, put on a Super Dirt Series race, and the promoter is already looking to have that series back at his track. So, despite the car count going that far, I think that speaks volumes to where.
Well, it obviously shows that he has a little patience and realizes that this can't maybe always going to work overnight. It's going to take a little time.
Well, and John, as a fan, you want instant gratification. You want it now. You want all the problems fixed. You want hunger solved and world peace. But I think
we also know that it doesn't work that way.
Right, and I've been pretty vocal about some of the stuff that I didn't like with the Dirt Car Series over the course of the past 5-6 years, and now some of the things that I didn't like, I'm starting to see fall into place, and kind of see the wheels start meshing together and where it's going. And from a different perspective, it's like, this is what they were talking about.
Right.
So I think that it's huge to have somebody from Michigan that's that hyped about bringing us back. Having a guy like Tony Stewart owning Eldora, being as involved as he is at the local level.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of things going in the favor for the Super Dirt Series.
I mean, I think some people fail to. Well, I don't even know if it's realized or they just choose to not see it. But there's a lot of things that happen in the past that we work through on a daily basis or a yearly basis, and I think this step of going to Michigan is saying, okay, you know what? We want to be big. We want to be on TV. We got to be bigger than just New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Canada.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think Joe's taken that step, and I know he has plans to take steps farther.
It's funny because there were so many people griping about having to go all the way to Michigan, but what's funny? Nobody bitched back when they went to Texas. Or they went, every year they go to Florida. Everybody loves to go to Florida. That's even farther. What are you bitching about?
I think that's got a whole lot more to do with established history and people.
But you
got
to start somewhere.
I understand that. You understand that. But we see things a little bit different than an average fan sees. They want their history here. They want to see it on TV when they can't see it in person.
Right.
And, the business fact of that matter is, what do you have for a product? And if the product's not a national product, you're not going to get the TV time, and you can't just go from a 3-state, 4-state deal to national recognition overnight. It doesn't happen, and it's good, Jeff, to see that some of the stuff that were the biggest hurdles are now starting to fall into place, and the hurdles are being jumped, and this is moving forward in a positive direction.
Yeah, it's exciting, and I mean, that's not just me speaking. That's coming from the fans, coming from the drivers. I'm telling you, I'm sure you saw it. Anything to do with the World Finals, but the modifieds. And don't get me wrong, I'm a big World of Outlaw Sprint Car fan. The modifieds put the best show on at the World Finals. They were awesome. I mean, do you remember Tim McCready coming up through the field?
Yeah.
I believe, if I remember correctly, he won 2 out of the 3 features. Is that correct?
That would be correct.
Yeah. Yeah.
He took both the late model and the modified portion of that. If I'm,
I mean, you know, and that's awesome. You know, I mean, he's around, he's running a lot, but he's also running late models and everything. I mean, the competition was great, and you know, DIRTcar National was the same thing. I mean, just to kick off the season down there, you know, I mean, it was great to have all the cars.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, you know, Jeff, it was great to have you come on. It was good to hear some promotion moving here towards Super Dirt Week and kind of pick up the pace here as the ball gets rolling downhill. And you know, that's Dirt Week's one of my season finale look forward to deals. So, you know, it was good to have you come on and keep us in touch with what you got coming. And
I will. I appreciate you guys reaching out to me. That was exciting. I love to be able to speak to the fans. I mean, sure, not all of them like when I speak to them, but I do have a passion for the sport, a passion for what we do, and I have a passion for rolling wheels and Super Dirt Week. And you know, we got less than 50 campsites left of the reserve camping, and that's with 600 available. So I guess we're doing something right there, and you know, selling out the suites at Rolling Wheels, and you know, for the fans that want to come out and see the late models and the sprint cars, still, if you purchase your ticket in advance, you get a free fan pit pass. I mean, I can't think of a better promotion. I mean, you know, you hear about the ticket deal, save $5, save whatever. You know what? Save full, you know, pay full price and be able to go in the pits also. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Before we let you go, just touching on Super Dirt Week for a minute. Do we know what's going on as far as coverage? Will it be tape delayed later in the year on Speed again?
It will be tape delayed. I got to be honest with you. I don't know when the date is. It's usually the end of October.
Yeah.
I believe 2 years ago, or actually maybe the last 2 years, it was on Halloween weekend.
Right.
So it's not extremely tape delayed, but yes, it's tape delayed, and you know, at this point. But I think we're making between the World of Outlaws and Super Dirt Week and the modifieds, we're making strides where maybe we can get this a little bit earlier and possibly even live someday.
Yeah, that would be real sweet.
That would be a huge step right there.
Yeah.
Yep.
And again, Jeff, thank you for coming on. Appreciate your time. And I will be in touch sometime this week, and we can chat and move forward and see what else we can do.
Perfect. Looking forward to it. I appreciate you guys having me on. You guys have a great show, and looking forward to talking to you again soon.
You're welcome on anytime, Jeff.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you in a couple weeks, man.
And there goes Jeff Hachmann from DIRTcar.
Cool.
Boy, that's some interesting things that he hit on there that they're looking to put together a bit of a short series. Oh, you know what I didn't ask him? When he said that he has a passion for Super Dirt Week and a passion for Rolling Wheels, it just occurred to me I should have asked him, who's going to own Rolling Wheels?
I thought about it way back in the beginning, but then
I
don't think I want to bring it up.
No, I got no issue bringing it up
because I know when they're ready to make an announcement.
When they're ready, they'll make an announcement. I have no issue asking that question. We can ask it next Thursday, but you know, I had Jeff come on tonight more so to promote the end of the season big shows that are coming around, the 358 series races, the Sportsman series, you know, Pro Stock, Super Dirt Week, you know, what modified series races they've got coming, and you know, I'm not looking to blindside a guy like that.
True,
but I have no issue calling him tomorrow and saying, listen, next week we want to go somewhere along the line of this, and you know, give him. You don't want to
give him a heads up.
Give him a heads up. Don't throw a guy under the bus. It's not.
Isn't that coaching the witness?
Something like that. Yes. If we were going to court, this would you definitely want to do this. You want to coach the witness. And one,
fair enough.
You don't want to make an enemy.
Well, we didn't.
No,
we didn't.
But that is a question we can go with.
I thought about it immediately, but then I thought, well, you know what? I better stay out
of it.
But
yeah, a better time and a better place for that question.
I still want to work the front gate on Labor Day weekend.
See, no, that's the wrong answer.
Yeah,
that doesn't make a damn bit of difference.
Shouldn't play.
You know, and I've never I'm
kidding.
I know, but in anything that I've ever done media wise, I have never allowed that pass. to stop me from asking a question or making a complete ass of myself. That's happened on numerous occasions.
Oh, I can do that by myself.
But it is good to hear.
He's not lying.
No. He is not lying. No, that's my line now. I stole it. But
I don't think so.
It was good to start talking Super Dirt Week.
We need to open up some lines of communication so that we don't get wrongfully lumped with everybody else, I think. And then when some of the tougher questions come up, we can
have a front row seat.
We like to think so.
I mean, you know what? And I think, we had Joe Skotnicki on earlier this year.
Yep.
In kind of a different scenario. And he was on the defensive because we hadn't gotten to him first under the circumstances we were given, which you never want to see a guy in. It's tough to do an interview with that. But he did it, and he was straight with it. And I think we've taken steps to build credibility towards not just being the next internet a-hole that's asking questions, because he has no consequence. I mean, in all reality, we have no consequence to anybody but Jim. And really, I think at this point, we could do anything we want to do and be those people. But I think we're trying to establish something a little.
Well, we're building a program. I mean, it's no different.
We want everybody to respect us, so they'll come to us when we ask them to.
Well, I mean, we're doing the same thing that Jeff's trying to do with Dirt Car. We're trying to build a brand, and we're trying to be reputable and respectable and respectful at the same time.
Which is
the
tough.
same. It's not tough. It's not tough to be
reputable.
Tough
to be respectful and reputable, but it's tough to do when you're coming from an internet with the stigma that comes with
that
90% of the internet. If you want to talk internet forums, I'm out. Don't like them, hate them.
We're not begging anywhere.
It's bad news, but I think doing things like this and doing them the right way will allow us to eventually keep bringing it and bring it with a realistic look from all sides and be able to get an answer with some respect from no matter what the situation or scenario is.
Are you saying that you don't participate in public forums?
I'm not saying I don't participate, but 90% of the time,
because I know you do.
Well, in what one?
Well, probably the world's largest.
Facebook. In what?
And Twitter.
That's not the forum. That's not the forums I'm talking about.
It's still a public forum,
right? And it's
all right.
Named.
I know where you're going.
It's named with my name on it.
If we're not going to mention the names of the forums, just stop it now. Just stop it now.
And you know what? To be honest with you, I don't even want to open that Pandora's box.
It's not. It's not worth it.
It's not worth dragging yourself down to that level. But again, building the respectability to be able to go and I would like nothing more than to take this show and do a live remote Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday from Super Dirt Week. Do a live remote show from Rolling Wheels. I want to have that option. I want to be able to do what it is that we like to do and do nothing more than promote, have fun, and be able to go to any track, any promoter, any series, ask the question, and get yes as an answer. Well, yes, we want you there. So
that's what we're working towards.
Hopefully.
Are we still on pace to get Daryl Barrett from? Have we touched base at all with him through the course of the night?
Well, he won his first heat race down there.
He won his heat race.
Yep. He won his heat race, so that was the.
They're having heat
part.
Races.
They're having several.
Well, they got all sorts of different stuff going on.
They've got heat races. They've got
the Spalding Foundation has their fundraiser down at the Seneca Grand Prix in Watkins Glen. They've got Allen Bestwick down there, Erik Darnell, and
Jeff Green.
Jeff Green. Yeah. I forgot about Jeff Green.
That's right. Anybody else show up? She was hoping others were going to show.
I think you'll probably see a few more. But
and Daryl Barrett was serving as our field reporter, giving us updates, and now our field reporter has won his qualifying event, which will send him on to. Whatever the next round's going to be for him down there. But we were wondering if we might get a chance to catch up with him. Of course, if he's in the car, we don't advocate texting or talking on the phone while driving a go-kart.
Even if it's a go-kart?
Listen, if they draw a red, he can be like Keselowski and let it out.
He'd send a tweet pic.
But, we'll see here in a few minutes if he's still available or currently available.
We encourage everybody to visit the pages on podcast.fingerlakes1.com and 31stlap.com. Check us out the Facebook page. Hit us up on Twitter and iTunes, Stitcher Radio, YouTube. All of it's under the 31st Lap. You can find Dog and Polly, The Sauce, the Finger Lakes Great Pod, Tech Talk Live, a variety of local Finger Lakes 1 podcasts and content. And, of course, to view the show as it happens, check us out on 31stlap.com. fingerlakes1.tv, and if you got something to say, ring us at 315-729-3999. And of course, the newest addition to the podcast family on Finger Lakes One, the musical Viral Spiral featuring P-Spot. We saw
Mitch Post.
Yep,
he's over there. That's my cousin or brother.
He had a crazy show up here on Sunday where he had the Seneca community players in, an electric keyboard, a freestyle guitarist, and an acupuncturist, and it was a zoo up here. But we pulled it off, and he's doing a good job. I got to give him credit. He's never done any hosting anything whatsoever. Nothing. Although he's done gobs of live performances, this is a little bit different venue, and he's sitting there, and he had a needle sticking out of the top of his head, a bunch of them in his arms and between his fingers and stuff.
He needed a tattoo artist
for the acupuncture.
Round it off.
For the acupuncture, it was something.
Good Lord!
Be sure.
What the hell is wrong with people?
Hey, to each their
Nothing
own.
Like stabbing yourself.
And you don't think there's people that watch his show that happen upon us on occasion and go, what the hell is wrong with these people?
They watch cars turn left.
That's it.
Does it look like we're going to get Daryl? Or
hear it all the time about that crap.
It does.
How can you sit there and watch cars go around in circles?
It does not appear that we are going to get Daryl. But at the last update, it was...
we're coming up on about 2 hours. That's why
I think we can forego it. He had sent a text earlier while we were in the middle of interviewing Joe Plazek that there was still tons of people coming in. There was a real good crowd. So, from the fundraiser standpoint, which is the point.
Spalding Foundation, SpaldingFoundation.org. They've already sent some help off to Denny Decker. They do have that golf tournament coming up at the end of August. Be sure to check out the Facebook pages. We've got updates and stuff about that. Dirt Track Digest also has information. Denny Decker, of course, was a street stock driver injured in the Wade Decker Memorial over...
I-88?
Yeah, I-88. It was about 3 weeks ago now.
3 weeks ago now.
And flipped the car and banged up his head a little bit. So he's recovering little bit by little bit.
That's a tough road to hoe. And hopefully the damage that was caused is temporary and something he will be able to overcome. But, regardless of which way that goes, it's a long struggle for him, his family, and anybody else around him on a daily basis. So, again, the Spalding Foundation doing their fundraiser. If you're listening and you gotta, I know money's tight, every dollar counts. I mean, if everybody tossed in $1, they'd be in real good shape. So,
and then we've also got some stuff going on out in Western Pennsylvania, Ohio. Some of our friends down there. Thoughts for Randy Adams. His dad was seriously injured when a fuel cell exploded on the truck that they were preparing to go run last Saturday night. He's doing all right, but it's a tentative all right. Doctors are continuing to caution everybody regarding his recovery. There is a benefit coming together. You can contact Homer Swanson through Facebook or by phone 330-277-6529. That's 330-277-6529. We'll have some more information as it comes available. Well, I think we're going to go around the horn and call it a night. So we'll start out. What you got to plug?
Have it, Bonus.
Not a whole lot.
Why don't you plug
obviously, I'll speak a little bit for Jeff here. We got Rolling Wheels Sunday, September 2nd coming up, the Labor Day weekend show, Super Dirt Series show. I will be at the front gate. So everybody come through the front gate, please.
Come through the front gate. It's the easiest way.
With a ticket in hand.
It's the easiest way to get in for nothing.
With a ticket, wonderful.
With a ticket in hand.
Nice.
And don't bring in your beer either. You can't bring in the damn beer.
What you got, Rich?
I got one thing to plug. That's JJ Ailey Speed Dice.
That's
Thanks,
right.
JJ.
Absolutely.
That was awesome. And I do have one other comment for. There was a little Twitter action today, and I had posted on the 31st Lap Twitter that I was wondering what people might want to see pictures and video of from Saturday night. Well, Tony Stewart's there and JJ Ailey and this and that. And Scotty Benedict decided that seeing me jammed into the cockpit of Tony Stewart's sprint car with the steering wheel on would be something he would want to see.
Well, how about that?
How about that?
Good luck with that.
The funny part of that is Paul Guerreri just kind of did an LMFAO and said, I'll bring the tub of butter because I'm going to need help out.
Yeah.
Better bring Crisco the hell with the butter.
Bring a big tub of something, Paul.
Well, first of all, I think first the number one problem is going to get Tony to agree to that.
Well, that was my first. I'm pretty sure he doesn't want me anywhere near his car.
Well, that's
and
what I'm
two,
thinking.
if he said go, we're going to need help Or to get the safety crew over there quick.
And again, let's just assume Tony thinks it's a funny idea and lets you go ahead and do it. I don't think the issue is getting in. I think the issue is getting back out.
I said, I'll get in. I'm going to need help out. Call a tow truck.
Yeah, you got gravity helping you get in. That's no problem.
Getting in is simple.
Getting in a race car, I wouldn't say getting in a race car is simple, but it's simpler.
I've crawled in a sportsman cockpit.
Getting out is hard.
I crawled in a sportsman cockpit. That's not the easiest thing in the world for a guy my size, but
I made the big mistake a couple years ago climbing in everybody knows what an asphalt modified looks like. They're very low to the ground. The window is very short. And I managed to get myself into this thing. I couldn't get out of it. They took the roof off. I couldn't get out.
Are you kidding me? John, come on.
I'm telling you, dude, the window was really small. I couldn't get out. And they sit right on the ground, those things.
I crawled in a Ford Escort window. It can't be that bad.
I'm not real limber.
No, I wish we could have pictures of that. Wow.
No, thank God there weren't any.
No, so bottom line here is
I almost had a heart attack.
Tugboat, bring the camera, and PG, bring Crisco, butter, whatever you think we're going to need to get me the hell out of that thing. Because I'd love to sit in the car, whether I can get in or out. It don't matter. What do you got, Chris?
Boy, well,
what do you got coming?
We got a little bit of time off this weekend. We're going to be spending Saturday and Sunday at Watkins Glen International. We don't have any derbies until next Wednesday.
So you're taking the derby off and going to work someplace else.
You're going to the Nationwide. Are you sticking around for the Rolex race?
I got to do Nationwide race, and then I got to do a qualifying story for the Finger Lakes Times. So we're going to be plenty busy down there. I imagine the Rolex race will probably be going on.
It starts at 6.
Well, I'm hoping to be on the road before then, but we don't know what's going to happen with the weather. So there'll be a full recap of qualifying and the Nationwide race and the Sunday edition of Finger Lakes Times. Wednesday at Fulton Speedway, we're going to be with King Smash 'em Crash 'em Derbies for a derby event up there at a Eve of Destruction type program.
You're going to be there Wednesday for the stunt show?
Yep, we'll be there for that. We'll be taping the derby and putting that together. We got a whole bunch of videos that are on deck that are going to get wrapped up. I'm doing some intros tonight, so everybody that's waiting on their stuff, Smashed Empire Films will be getting your stuff together. And then a big shout out to everybody at the Franklin County Fair. Jamie St. Mary came on the show, went out, won the first night, and was second the night after. So that was cool to see him coming across the line, so to say, in a steaming, smoking heap, and took the trophy home.
Isn't that what a demolition derby is?
That's what it's all about. That is what it's all about. I think we welcome Mike back next Thursday.
We'll
be graced with the presence of.
Tentatively, we're going to say he's going to be here, but
there's a Lebanon race.
As I told Rich earlier outside when we first got here, Lebanon Valley has the Mr. Dirt Track USA next Thursday. So, right now, tentatively, he's supposed to be here. I'll just say that.
Well, maybe we'll see him, maybe we won't. I know we're going to be catching up with our buddy Jeff Homan again next week, and who knows what the rest of the week is going to bring. We're going to get through the weekend, but no matter what, we'll see you right back here on the 31st lap next Thursday.
www.fingerlakes1.com